Good afternoon, everyone. We're getting started right about now, so I hope you're ready. My name is Dean Camacho. I've met many of you. I am the communication specialist for Immaculate Heart Community. If this is your first time here or your first time at this location, we do have restrooms outside of both of these doors to the left. Another thing that we'd like to point out is our Friends of the Heart program, our volunteer program. Please stop by our flyer table or speak with Michaela or Pam to go ahead and get signed up, help out at all the exciting events we've got going on this year, which we're very excited to announce as well. On the table, you're going to see a couple paper surveys that do have QR codes. We would absolutely love for you to fill these out. It is very, very dire feedback. This kind of helps provide, us learn about who you want to see or what you want to see in the upcoming months. Again, not many events ask you to get out your phone and use them, so do with that what you will. For the people on Zoom, we will go ahead and put a link to the survey in the chat box for you to go ahead and fill out as well. So you can go ahead and do that after the fact, and you're going to find more at the table in the back. Our next event is January 29th. That's going to be at La Casa de Maria up in Santa Barbara. We've got a wonderful speaker from Heal the Ocean, Karina Johnston. And then for a sneak peek of February, we do have our lovely Bob Williams as our speaker at this location. Yes. Round of applause. We will be celebrating his 40th year of interfaith work, which is an amazing achievement. As one final reminder, these events are provided free of charge. We do appreciate any donations and support made to keep these programs up, running, accessible for everybody. You will go ahead and see QR codes on the table as well. You can go ahead to the website. For our Q&A portion, we are changing some things around a little bit. So we're holding questions to the end. You raise your hand, we bring a mic over. A lot of you know this already. But we will now begin to alternate between 2 questions in the room, 2 questions online, so far and so forth. When you do get the mic, again, please speak clearly so our friends can be a part of the discussion online as well. We do want to say thank you to the St. Paul staff and all of our lovely neighbors for sharing this space with us. And a very sincere thank you to the rest of the Immaculate Heart team. 2025 was a very interesting year for many of us, but we have kind of gone through with some unwavering support from the community and each other, which has propelled us to where we are now, kicking off the new year stronger than ever. We are very, very excited for 2026. Thank you to Chef Tim for cooking this meal and everyone that was kind of involved in that process to keep us fed. We extend a very gracious thank you to our wonderful speaker, Naomi Ackerman, for changing the lives of thousands of youths, many of whom just needed a helping hand and an open heart. If we could go ahead and give her a round of applause as well. And with all that being said, I give a very warm welcome to Immaculate Heart President and Principal Executive Officer, Sherry Purcell.
Thank you, Dean. Welcome, everybody. This is our first Lunch and Learn for 2026. Pam and I set these up 3 years ago as kind of an experiment. And the Lunch and Learns on Friday afternoons once a month have really become kind of one of our anchor points. And the thinking about them has been, let's bring together a bunch of people who are kind of talking about the same things, have interest in the same kinds of justice and social justice topics, and let's learn about what people are doing, and let's figure out what we can do to support them. So that's what this is about, and we're really glad that you're here. If you haven't been here before, a little bit about our community. Last year we celebrated our 55th anniversary. We are an inclusive lay community of men and women. We believe in God, and we believe in living out our faith through justice and social justice activities that align with our 5 commissions. So we have one on justice for women, one for justice for the environment, justice for immigrants, refugees, and indigenous people, and one for people who aren't housed, and another one we call anti-racism as spiritual transformation. So we have a lot of things that we try to impact in our community. We are a community without walls. We don't live in convents. We're not nuns. We have members all over the United States, Canada, and England. And we do accept new members annually, so if you're interested, please check out our website, our Friends of the Heart that Dean mentioned. Learn more about that. And please continue to come to our Lunch and Learns. So I want to, before I introduce Naomi, I want to begin with our Power Up practice. Last year we started Power Up, and the invitation is for everybody to stop at noon, or at least once a day, but stop at noon. So we're at noon right now. And just center yourselves and pause a few minutes to send out heart, love, energy to this world that is so in chaos. We look at what's going on this year, just the first couple of weeks of 2026, and so many people are terrorized. There are countries around the world that are terrorized by our country. And so it's important for us to take a few minutes. It's a kind of a prayer, but it's not a religious prayer. It's a prayer from your heart. So if you're so inclined, just take a minute, put your feet on the floor, and I extend this invitation to our Zoomers too, I can't see. Calm yourselves. Put your hand over your heart. And then breathe deeply into your heart. Take a few deep breaths into your heart. And then as you breathe out that loving heart energy to our local community. People are struggling as we speak. Surround them with love and support. Take another deep breath into your heart. And now breathe out that energy to our nation who's struggling, still struggling to find its moral compass again. Let us send out that energy to our fellow citizens. Another deep breath. And breathe that out to the world and to Mother Earth. We are all on this planet together, and we are all intricately entwined in what's happening. And then finally, a deep breath in, and let's breathe it out to each other in this room, knowing that we are here to raise consciousness about the topic that Naomi is going to speak to us about today, and to raise that consciousness of love for each other as we move forward to make a difference in the world. And so let it be. Thank you. So in our Lunch and Learns, we really have three objectives. We seek to educate ourselves, so we have these wonderful heroes and sheroes who are among us, who come and talk to us about what they're doing. We pray, and we ask you to pray in your own faith tradition when you hear about these topics. And then we always ask everybody who's present to find a way to act, find a way to make a difference based on what you're hearing. So today we are welcoming Naomi Ackerman. As you listen to Naomi, please consider how you might get involved to help her work. Naomi is the founder and executive director of the ADVOT project, a Los Angeles-based nonprofit that uses theater and the arts to teach communication skills and healthy relationships. ADVOT means ripples in the Hebrew language. I think we just did some ripples out from our hearts, didn't we? ADVOT uses the power of artistic exploration to empower young people to find their voice and grow into courageous and effective self-advocates. Their groundbreaking Ripple method teaches thousands of young people vital communication and relationship building skills, empowering them to overcome the barriers in their lives and to create ripples of change in their community. Naomi wrote, directed, and produced this, and still performs the critically acclaimed one-woman show, Flowers Aren't Enough. The show has been presented over 2,500 times globally, including at the United Nations Commission for the Status of Women, and has been translated into 4 different languages. Flowers was the seed for the creation of ADVOT. Naomi's work has been recognized with numerous awards, including KCET and the Union Bank Local Heroes Award, the International Women Achievers Award for Community Leadership, and the Covenant Award for Excellence in Jewish Education. She is honored to be a Speranza Foundation Lincoln City Fellow and an American Jewish World Series Global Justice Fellow. So please join me as we welcome Naomi for our first Lunch and Learn in 2026.
So I understand that I have to stand here for the video because I'm kind of a closer type standing person, but am I allowed to? Oh, we have 3. Oh my gosh. I'm ready for my close-up. I am so honored to be here. I want to say that in the community of nonprofits, we work very hard and in silos. And someone told me about Pam and your generosity and warmth, and just making a space for me is not a given. It is not common, and I so appreciate you. And when I walked into this space, I was like, I think I want to live here. I've never been here. I've heard so much, and I think I said this to someone. I've heard a lot about Nefesh, the Jewish community, and they're like, oh, it's an amazing building. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is an amazing building. And what an amazing community. And you kind of stole, I usually start my when I speak, centering exercise, just so everybody is present. I love that you started with a prayer kind of facing out. So I'm going to do something to kind of bring us in. And it's from a practice of Kundalini Yoga that I've done. And whenever you're feeling, and we do this a lot with the youth that we work with, this is a really great, it's 1 minute. And if you're feeling kind of all over the place, or if you're being distracted, if you put both your hands near your ears, okay? Now it's not this, we're not saying hi, we're holding our hands here and we're going like this. You can smile, and we're gonna keep our eyes open, and we are gonna do it for 1 minute, which seems like nothing, but in like a few seconds you're gonna be, oh my God, I didn't go to the gym today, this is hard. So keep going, and I'm gonna be looking, and breathe, because breathing is super important. We don't want to lose our breath. Breathe in, breathe out, put away all the thoughts, be present and listen about the wonderful, amazing, brilliant youth I work with. Create a space for them in your heart. Be present. You can ask me any question afterwards. Keep doing this. We have 20 more seconds. You can smile to someone next to you. Be present. And we are going to do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now just feel the energy and hold it in front of you. Take a deep breath and exhale. Thank you. So welcome. My name is Naomi. My nickname is actually Nomi, and I grew up in Israel. And to give you a context, Flowers Aren't Enough is a one-woman show that deals with the issue of domestic violence. I traveled the world extensively, and I actually saw that in the slums of Mumbai and in the fancy houses in Bel Air and in Texas and in South Africa and all over the world, we are all trying to be in relationships. And sometimes they're good, many times they're not so great, sometimes they get violent, and no one really teaches us how to be in relationships. If we're lucky, we have great parents that maybe model a great relationship. Excuse me, if we're like, the food was really good, so you know, I never eat before I speak, and I'm like, I have to eat this food. We might have a single parent who models a relationship with us, But when in our life does someone sit down and say, this is how we should be talking, this is how we should relationship, and that actually your success in life is not going to be based if you went to Harvard or if you went to Yale. It's going to be the person you choose to spend your life with, the people that you surround yourself with. And actually, you don't need to be polite to succeed in life. You need to relationship well so that you give me what I need, I give you what you want, and that we have some common ground to be together. And I love the prayer that you started with, that what you give out to the world is actually what comes back to you. So I was performing this show a lot. And then I was approached by a domestic violence agency. Could we maybe create an interactive drama curriculum that helps us talk to youth about relationshiping? And I always laugh that in one of the first groups that I did, one of the kids was talking and I said, hey, and he says, Miss, I'm relationshiping. What's the deal? Come on. So I want to start by sharing a video. I just want to share, it's a little bit old, so two things have changed. We rebranded. We used to be called the ADVOT Project because it was just me teaching in like 2 places, and it was a little project, and we dropped the and project and just our ADVOT, which is ripples, because now we have 30 weekly classes and a whole staff, which I will talk about how we grew. But really the word ADVA, ripples, is about the ripple effect of change. And I really believe that if we change one thing on how we talk to each other, if we change one thing on how we look at each other, on how we walk the world, unbelievable things can happen. And what's funny, and if you ever watch the ripples, which I do a lot, is that you literally can see it. You throw one stone and it's and I'm so grateful to God that I've been doing this work for 15 years and I've seen that. I've seen youth who have been marginalized, locked up, never seeing a future, graduate college. So I just want to say that if you don't believe, and I have a feeling that everyone in this room is a believer, you should believe. So what I want to say is that we've changed our name, but also some of the statistics in this video are a little bit old, and we have had some great policies in the United States on the juvenile justice system. So some of the facts in the beginning are a little bit less, that's a great thing. So this is the Chrysalis video. Sorry.
In a single year, an estimated 2.1 million youth under the age of 18 are arrested in the United States. And on any given day, more than 50,000 of those minors are detained in juvenile detention facilities across the country. They are charged with crimes that vary from serious offenses, petty theft, being at the wrong place at the wrong time, or social services simply having nowhere else to send them. So they are sent here, to juvie.
We are at Camp Scudder. We're on the walkway to the dorm from the office. It's chaotic at times.
What goes on behind these walls has a stigma of being something terrible. And terrible it can be. That is why there must be rules in place, bills passed, and an engaged community that pays attention, takes care, and is on guard. Because if we take freedom away from minors, even for a brief moment in time, we must make sure to give them resources and programs like the ADVOT Project.
This isn't about having regrets. It's about learning from choices we made how to make a better choice.
Programs that will teach them, help them, support them, and ultimately enable them to make changes in their lives.
Today I am.
Today I am beautiful.
The youth who are detained are fed, go to school, and are safe. But it is vital to also give them opportunities to rehabilitate, tools to transform. Because as crazy as it may sound, it is in these facilities where change can begin to happen. So that when they leave, not only do they survive, they begin to thrive. Now, what does this mean for you and me? Why are we saying all this? Because as much as we want and are starting to lower that 2.1 million number, we would like to invite you to play another role.
My plan is to go back to school, get my high school diploma.
I hope to be a singer, a model, and an actress.
I want to produce.
I want to be a parole officer.
And then my plan is to go to independent living, and I'm gonna go to college.
My plan was to be a veterinarian.
When they are released, we can greet them with support, opportunities, guidance, and grace.
In the future, I hope to see in the mirror.
You see, this is not about giving a second chance. It's about giving the first chance they never had. And if and when we do that, the impossible can definitely be made possible.
So a lot of people ask me, what does that mean you use theater and the arts to teach communication? What do you actually do with the youth in these lockup facilities? What does that mean? So I'm gonna invite you on the table, you're gonna see there's a thing that has hands, it says I am not. And I'm gonna give you 1 second, not 1 second, 1 minute. No wrongs, no rights, which is really important. Today, in this moment, who are you? 3 things. I can tell you in this moment, right now I'm a little hot. I'm excited to be here, and I'm a mom. I'm always a mom. I have 3 daughters, I'm always a mom. I'm not scared, I'm not sad, and I'm not intimidated. Sometimes when I come to these places and speak, there's like really fancy people, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be here. So that was just random, my 3 things. On the piece of paper, I am not. 3 things you are this moment, today, where we are. And I'm just going to say again, you're the expert on you, no wrongs, no rights. Who you are, what you are right now, today. And when you're done, put your pen down so I can see who's done. Anybody willing to share? Anybody willing to share? Yes, no, maybe so? Great, so loud and proud.
I am happy, grateful, and blessed.
Amazing, and what are you not?
I didn't write that, but I'm sad.
Great, happy, grateful, and blessed. It's really interesting. Yesterday, I was in one of the lockup facilities, and one girl, I didn't say grateful, right? Just, what are you today? She says, I am grateful for this, I am grateful for this, I am grateful for this. And then she said, I am not grateful for this, I am not grateful for this. And I said, that's so interesting that you chose the word grateful. And she said, yeah, some person said we're supposed to have a good attitude, so I figured if I just add the word grateful everywhere, it'll be okay. So that, yeah. Anyone, can we have one more? One more? Anyone else? Amazing, loud and proud. Oh wait, I think you need to wait for, I'm sorry, I'm like not being connected to the, and hello, where are these cameras? One's there. Hello, people online. What an amazing thing that we can all be connected. Oh, I can look over there at myself. Hello. Oh, look, there's a lot of people. Aren't you happy I'm not making you turn on your camera? My kids during COVID would like lie in bed, and I would like, what if your teacher sees you? They're like, Iman, nobody's gonna see us. Yes, please.
I'm touched, sad, grateful. I'm not hopeless, certain, and I'm not settled.
Great, thank you. All right, hand of applause for this. This wasn't even acting. It's just a moment to express yourself. And we could do a whole exercise. Why are you feeling that? How are you feeling that? Can we act that out? What we do by writing, what we do by acting, is actually starting to create possibility of being proud of who we are, of being able to say out loud, this is not who I am, about having agency, about how we express ourselves. Because our tagline, your voice is your power, what we've learned, particularly about youth who've been marginalized, is that they don't think that their voice matters, they don't speak up for themselves, and they don't think that they have any control. And in systems that have oppressed them, when you feel out of control, we want to teach and give tools to say, yes, you might be locked up and not have freedom, but you do have agency to say what you need. You have agency to ask for what you want. And if you do it in a way that helps people listen to you, you actually might get it. And that's really our starting point. So I'm going to share another video. This is the one from Camp Scudder. And we started off just with girls, so the first two videos are girls, and then this third one is going to be with the boys. So this is just a little bit more of a glimpse, more granular of what we do.
Right now, in this moment, tell me who you are.
I am a new me. I was lost, angry, and depressed. I am now a child of God, but I am still on a lifelong journey. I am found, but I am still confused, but I will find my way. I've been hurt and I've been blamed, and I've blamed people. They may have been the cause of my pain, but I am the boss of my own actions. I am humble, I am smart, and I will make it.
It's really about honing in on being worthy. Not only are you worthy, you are the gatekeeper of your self-worth. Because that's the key also to moving forward. Because if you're not going to believe that you can go to college and get a job and have a real life and get off the streets and not be part of the gang, then who is?
All I want is to do something good. Like, I don't want to do bad, and I know that I made mistakes.
She graduated college in May.
Soon I can recognize them.
So the ADVOT project, the Ripples project, is using theater and the arts to create a ripple effect of change. That you can make things better by talking about them, about acting them out, and about playing. And I very, very much believe that any serious topic that we take and we play and we improv and we look at it and we act it out, we can make it better.
My name's Officer Kip and you're Officer Tripp. Relationship 101, you get to act like you just get to do stuff. It's something to look forward to. I look forward to doing this.
Nice! And it helps me improve my self-esteem too, because it doesn't make me feel like I'm nothing, like what other people say. It makes me feel like I'm actually somebody. Maybe not somebody famous, but somebody important.
No one ever says anything to them. You're great. You're beautiful. You have a chance. You can be somebody.
I am beautiful. 2, I am amazing. 3, I am worthy.
It's awesome to have people like this who don't judge you, who don't ask you, what did you do, or define me by a case or a charge. I don't feel like I'm detained. I feel like I'm on the outs, went to a program on a Thursday.
I hope that society will have the fortune of seeing what I've seen, that these girls are loyal, that they're caring, that they're young, that they have potential, that they show remorse, that they're scared, that they don't have guidance, that they don't have role models, that they're struggling to just figure out who they are, then maybe we'll have more compassion for them. And maybe we'll be more forgiving. And I'm not saying that they need to be forgiven for the crime that they committed. They need to be forgiven so that they can have a future.
We are beautiful. We are amazing. We are strong.
We're going to end, just prepare yourselves that we're going to end our class today class, my speaking. We do always with affirmations. And one of the things, and it's funny, what I love the most, so as I shared yesterday, I was up in Camp Kilpatrick, which is a lockup facility for young women in Malibu. And yesterday was my first class. And when I tell them, we're going to end by saying, I am amazing, I am beautiful, I am worthy, they look at me like I just fell from the sky. Fuck that, I'm not doing that. I'm like, you are. And you're going to do, and they start off so mad, and that's the end. They're like, yeah, we're worthy. And it's amazing how simple that is, that we just don't say that to ourselves. I'm not even talking about someone saying it to us, right? So, excuse me. So I start off working in the girls' camps. My life is changed. The word in Hebrew, I grew up in Israel, of acting is lesachek. And lesachek means to play. And what an extraordinary thing for me to be able to go into spaces with youth who really, their childhood has been taken away from them, and start to play, and to bring puppets, and to bring masks, and to bring theater. And when I started this work 15 years ago, probation was like, these are tough gangbangers. You're not going to be able to do theater with them. I'm like, yes, I will be. No. And he said, yeah. If we say relationships are the most important thing in our lives, communication is key for relationships, newsflash, art and theater, best way to teach things. So we're starting to do all these different games, and really, communication is so big. So we honed in on something that's called the ripple process, and everything in ADVOT, because ADVA means ripples, is about water, fluidity, streams. And we have these 5 streams of communication, and they're on the table, and we kind of go through them because, and just in a quick little monologue, we always think that communication is about talking. Actually, most important thing, listening. Listen to what's being said to you. If your PO says you can't have a phone call right now, don't go crazy on him. He just said you can't have a phone call right now. What does that mean? Oh, miss, maybe later. I said, yeah, right? But if you get angry, there's going to be no later, right? Then there's authentic storytelling. How many times of the people in this room did you call someone and say, hey, you want to go hang out tomorrow? You want to go have lunch tomorrow? Oh, no, I'm really busy. Oh, they don't like me. We all kind of do that, right? Don't make up a story that's not there. Don't make up a story that doesn't exist. And most important with the youth that we serve, don't be ashamed of your story. Your story is one page of a beautiful book. So that page is kind of bad. Write the new chapter. Make it new. But be authentic. You don't have to hide. You don't have to be ashamed. We all mess up. Even you miss? Yeah, a lot. I tell them, right? So we have intentional listening. We have authentic storytelling. In each one of these, there's an interactive drama game that we play. Each one of these, we have all these different role-playing games, which if I had more time, I would make all of you do it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do one thing with you in a second, just because of that. But really what we do is each class, we role play. We talk about situations. When was a time when you weren't authentic? Why do we not? Like the masks, we do a lot of work with masks. When do I put a mask on? When do I take it off? When do we feel safe? How do we make a situation safe for ourselves? And what we talk a lot with the kids is stopping to blame everybody and taking responsibility so that I also have agency to be the change, right? And not, I don't know, it's a new Fitbit and I don't know how to turn off the phone on it, so I apologize. And I'm using my phone to watch the time, even though I shouldn't, because they're showing me the time. So we have intentional listening, authentic storytelling, start with I, and these are there. Start with I, and I'm just gonna give you, since you are pushing back, I'm gonna give you a little example. I love affirming. Okay, let's say you walked in and you saved this seat for your friend, and I can't even imagine that you would ever do something not nice, but you came in and you're like, I'm sitting here, right? You wanted to sit here. Can you say in really mean voice and angry, move over? Yeah, okay, go for it, say it. A little louder.
You have to leave.
You have to leave. Yeah, you have to leave. Somebody's sitting here. Can we all just really loudly, I'm going to count to 3, say move over aggressively. I know you're all Immaculate Heart, gentle people, but I'm going to say 1, 2, 3 and just say move over aggressively. Good. I didn't even count to 3. Awesome. Move over. Okay. Thank you. Well, again, Lois, is that, no, Leonora, sorry. Lenore. I can't even imagine you ever being aggressive because you seem so kind. But maybe, I'm not saying you're a pushover, but she's like, I don't got to go nowhere. I'm sitting here.
I've heard her say that.
What is another way that we could say, instead of you got to move over, or I also really appreciate no profanity in this room, because that's a big deal trying to explain to the youth that we work with. It's not that we don't use those words, you just don't want to use it in court. You know, what can I say? I'm not saying clean your mouth, I'm just saying, if you tell the judge, I need to fucking get out of here. Yeah, surprising, he's not going to give you early release. Excuse me. So what could be a way that we could ask this lovely woman to move from the seat? Anyone have an idea? Excuse me. Okay.
What you run into.
So I'm gonna pin that for a second. Yeah, but I could say, yeah, no, I don't want, no, right? Like, or please, that's being polite. We're not into politeness. Like, yeah, you should be polite, but this isn't an exercise in politeness. What we explain to the youth, people have brains and they like to understand. And this they love. We talk about the 3 F's that are not the F word. Okay? Fact, feeling, and fair request. And start it with an I sentence, right? Because, excuse me, because if I say you need to move, I can always say, no, I don't. But if I say I'd like you to move, I can say, no, you won't, because you are, as we did, I am, you're the experts on you. So if I start with a fact, I was saving the seat for my friend. What's the feeling? I really want them to sit here. What would be, I'm so sorry that I'm coughing. And what would be the fair request? I'd really appreciate it if you would move. And it's unbelievable what people do when they understand why you want something, right? It's unbelievable when you use an I sentence, how much power that has. Instead of me saying, you need to move, no, I don't. I'd really love it if you could free that seat. And even the toughest person will probably cooperate. And what's really funny, I can share with you, excuse me, we were doing this exercise and we were acting it out, and one of the girls used the fact, feeling, fair request, and she said, P.O., I haven't called home in a month. I really miss my family. I'd so appreciate it if I could have a phone call home. And of course, we're not allowed to be in the facility without a PO. The PO who was on his phone in the back picks up his head, come, I'll take you to take a phone call right now. Like he didn't understand that they were acting it out, but he was so impressed about how polite she was. He was like, come, we can do the phone call. And that was so the girls saw, oh my God, that actually works. So use an I sentence. Speak your truth. Don't make up a story. You know, we talk about an inner voice and an outer voice. Use an I sentence to say what you're feeling. And this is really going back to how we started with the prayer about our oh so fragmented world and the region that I grew up in. Recognize perspective. I walk into spaces where people look very different than me. Miss, what are you going to teach me? You don't know. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't know. You're going to teach me. You're going to teach me about the hood. No, I haven't been in the gang. And I'm going to give you some tools. And I'm going to teach you how you can maybe get some things that you want. And we're going to actually teach each other. And you're going to learn my perspective because it's a different perspective. And you're going to make me a better teacher because I'm going to learn your perspective. Pew. Right? And we really hone in on these streams of communication because we've found, and I have found in the years of doing the work, that these are things to hone in communication. And around it, we do a lot of exercises. Are you bringing me a lozenge? That is lovely. Oh, thank you. So I'll do it when I put on the next video. So this is the base of our work. And around it, we do dance, we do song, we do creative writing. And we also give a place to express their lives and show their lives. And what we try to do also in our showcases is break the barriers. So if and this is, I'm really proud, and I want you to pay attention in the next video. The young man, and in the years that I've been doing it, also the rules have gotten a lot stricter. So in the next video, the faces, we're not allowed to show the faces of the young men. My team and I had an idea. What would happen, because in the lockup facility, they're wearing like a t-shirt and sweatpants. What would happen if when they came to bow to the audience, they were wearing suits and ties? Change the picture. So they came out, and in the Q&A, one of the people in the Q&A said, how does it feel to wear a suit? And one of the guys says, I'm not gonna lie, I've never worn a suit before. This is amazing. And then the guy in the audience says, well, how does it feel? He says, I feel like goddamn God right now. So the ripple effect, it was a suit and a tie. And I come from a very wonderful spiritual community that I belong to. And I am very fortunate that my community support, all I had to do was put on our Facebook page, we're doing a show in the lockup facility. Can somebody bring suits? Does anybody have suits? 24 hours in my office, there were 5 bags of suits. So I also want to say, while we all need money, and it's super important, there's so many layers of involvement. There's so many layers of doing good in this world. And there's so many ways, and it also doesn't have to be forever. I've been doing this for a long time. This is my calling, this is my purpose. You don't have to do that. I mean, if you want to, I'll tell you why not to, but no. But find your place of where you can be effective in this, and we'll talk about that afterwards. So now we're going to show, thank you for this, we're going to show the third video.
Camp Page is a facility managed by the probation department that houses youth that were ordered to camp by the juvenile court system.
I think the most important lesson while they're at this pivotal point in their life is to remember and learn that everything is about choice and the choices that they make, whether they're free and not here or whether they're here.
ADVOT empowers youth to use their voice through the magic of theater arts and arts in general. I am the programs manager for all the juvenile detention centers that we program in.
These youth that we've been working with have probably spent the last 2-3 months developing these plays. We taught them basic screenwriting skills, and they wrote their own show, and they were able to really transform into these characters.
My writings, man, they came from experiences in life. It was pretty easy and pretty hard. It was difficult at the same time, so I had to know how to, like they say, work with the heart and work with the mind. Make sure they collaborate together.
Look, man, I feel like you're going through something right now. I genuinely want to work it out with you. Well, can we do it over pizza?
I was ashamed of myself as a kid. I was ashamed to be my whole self. And I just remember not really having an adult figure to say that I'm worthy, that my voice matters, that my voice is my power.
I did learn something new about myself. I learned how I can speak, and how people listen. I learned that I'm smart, just more than that. I learned that I'm smart, and besides all the plays and all that, I can do something in my life, I can focus on the big picture, focus on success.
We never ask the youth what they've done or why they're here. We care about where they're gonna go and what they're thinking of in the future.
So 15 years ago, now I chewed it, so now I have a problem. I didn't finish it fast enough in the movie. So started with me going into a facility and saying, wow, the work that I do and the art that I believe in has the power to really make change. And all the skeptic voices that people from the hood, gang members can't do theater, well, that was wrong, because they can do the most amazing theater. And we always tell the kids, Spielberg, who they don't even know who he is, he's not come, like, you don't have to be an actor, but take this opportunity to step out of your comfort zone so that you're practicing. And I'll tell you, the show that you just saw was a huge success. Probation loved it. They had a bunch of people from the community come, parents came, and probation was like, oh my God, we need to do this again. Like, that was amazing. And the guys were like, we don't want to do this again. That was enough. One time was really scary. We don't want to do this again. And probation was like pressing us, ADVOT, no, we want to bring this one and we want to bring that one. And I'm like, yeah, no, they don't want to do it again. They did it once. They achieved it. They told their story. They're not actors. And my team, who you saw here, who are all actors, are like, what? We have to do it again. Everybody loved it. They got a standing ovation. And I'm like, they're not actors. You want to do a show 100 times. For these guys, that was almost like going to the moon. To stand in front of 60 people and say, I am this, I am not that, to share your life, that's huge. And what I said to the guys, you don't have to do it again, but when you go to the job interview and you're feeling really nervous, remember that you stood in front of 60 people and did a show. And when you're standing in court and they're gonna desponge this whole thing from your record, remember how people stood up and gave you a standing ovation. And that's what art does. It empowers to know that you have power. And that's kind of a place that we try to kind of sit and dwell in. So the organization really kind of expanded. We started off just in lockup facilities. And then we said, what would happen if we met them on the outside before they came in? And we started working in continuation schools and in charter schools. And then the place where in a lot of the inner city neighborhoods is actually after school, in the community centers, in the Boys and Girls Clubs. We work very closely with Homeboy Industries. They have 3 different arms. So we're in the main building, and that's a relationship that I've had. I've been teaching. This is actually, again, how do you cultivate a relationship? 10 years ago, I was looking where to start a reentry program. Like, where could we meet? And I didn't even have an office yet. And somebody said, go talk to Homeboy. So they said, you know what? We'll give you the space on Sunday, and you teach an improv class. I got the space, I think, 2 Sundays. 10 years later, I'm still teaching that improv class. But Father G spoke at our gala last year, and I have a very close relationship with him. So, and that's kind of where I started with Pam. Like, we all are in these spheres of doing the work. How can we help each other? How can we support each other? And I truly, truly believe from really deep down that we are so much stronger always together. And any work that you're doing that I can be part of will make us better. And really, to quote Father G, there is no us and them, right? There's no you and it's us together. And another thing that he really taught me is that when you step into a margin, that's when it goes away. So me driving up to wherever, and you know, the lockup facilities are all very far, but just me showing up there and being there is stepping to a margin, and then that margin goes away because I do care and I do go. And that's really what the call is, or the call to action is. How can we, and where do we, in our busy, hectic lives, where is our opportunity to step into the margin? And I think that that's the place that we all need to kind of check with ourselves. Can I volunteer more? Can I give money? Can I donate things? Like, what does that look like? And everything is welcome, right? Like, you don't have to do this or that. You can do this and that. Or maybe this season isn't the season that you can give. So next season, right? I was somewhere last night and somebody said, oh, I'm an empty nester. Now I want to go to juvie. I'm like, okay, great. So, you know, what has been beautiful and really a blessing for me is to watch it grow, right? And it was an idea, kind of like a hypothesis that I had, that art can empower, art can teach, art can give tools. And now, 3 different tracks in 30 different weekly classes, we have incredible impact. And in the little gift that you are all welcome to take, there's a little pouch that you can use for whomever. There's a little candle, because everyone is a light, always. And there's a little piece of paper that has just some of our impact summary that I'm really, really proud of. So to kind of give you the breadth of our work, I want to share the puppet video. We use a lot of puppets in our work, and I always used to laugh if our puppets could talk of all the different places that they've been at. And then somebody said, why don't you do a little promotional piece about the puppets, and they'll talk about and explain ADVOT instead of you. So this is where you will get our puppets' perspective. She's bringing me another one. See, it helped. Thank you.
That's all it is.
I don't know what you put in it.
I don't want to wake up.
Hey there.
Well, hello to all of you too.
What are we doing today?
OMG, we've got a super full day.
Oh man, more full than yesterday? This is crazy.
Do you remember when we only would go to just one location?
Seriously? Those were the days. Loved it. Our days are so long now.
Oh, yes, they are.
Whoa. Ah, enchanté!
Who are you?
I am the new puppet. Oh, man, we're growing. More locations, more classes, more puppets. We need to diversify who is working with the participants, eh?
That's right.
Yeah, man. Representation matters.
Excuse me, but who exactly do you represent?
Oh, I represent all the participants who are superheroes.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. Well, who are we with today?
The visionary trainers. That's what ADVOT calls its teaching artists.
Because, they train participants to have great visions of themselves. Oh, and believe in their possibility.
Like getting an education.
Having a job.
Being clean and sober.
Giving back to society.
Don't we teach communication skills and healthy relationships?
Of course we do. Are we gonna just talk about it, or should we go and do it?
Are you all ready for a road trip?
I call shotgun.
I got snacks.
ADVOT serves youth in the LA County Probation Detention Facilities Camp Athelbau, Camp Joseph Page, Camp Glen Rocky, Dorothy Kirby Center, Camp Joseph Scott, Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall, and Barry J. Nydorf Juvenile Hall. We are also in local high schools, New Village Girls Academy, USC Hybrid High School, Homeboy Youth Academy, as well as after-school programs at the Boys and Girls Club of Santa Monica, Mar Vista Gardens, JAMS, and Impacto e Proyecto Pastoral. We serve at re-entry sites like Homeboy Art Academy and Homeboy Industries on Bruno Street. Our Home Shalom program is in 5 local synagogues. We teach our core Listen, Act, Change curriculum all over the city, from Lancaster to Boyle Heights. Los Padrinos to Laverne, from Koreatown to Compton, to Mid-Wilshire to Sylmar. ADVOT travels all over LA County, teaching the innovative Ripple Method.
ADVOT teaches youth to find their voice and use it.
ADVOT empowers participants to believe in themselves and their possibilities.
ADVOT tells youth that they matter, that their future matters. At the end of each class, they all say,
I am brave! I am amazing! I am worthy!
I know, are we, there, do I have a few more minutes? Okay, so this is the breadth of our work. Our curriculum, our tagline used to be Listen, Act, Change, which kind of connected to what you were talking about in the beginning. And then we decided to talk more about voice. So the curriculum in our program is called Listen, Act, Change, because first you listen, then you take action, and then you change. So I'm going to actually start the question and answers, and then can I have 3 minutes in the end to just close out everything? Is that okay? Great. So much. I welcome any question and all questions. And really the invitation for you is to join our mailing list. Come see our kids in action. We have shows a lot of the times. We do things inside the lockup facilities. And email us and we'll see how you can be involved. And if you have, you know, a lot of money just kind of hanging out that you don't know what to do with, we will gladly take it and use it for good. So I'm happy to take any questions and really any comments. And, you know, I'm from the Middle East, so I like tough questions. You're allowed to also ask the things you're wondering. Anyone want to start? Yes.
So obviously, you know, with kids, there's a lot of moodiness and just teenage angst. What do you do with the kids who don't want to be involved, but, you know, either probation forces them or there's some kind of pressure to get involved? How do you work through that? How do you either get them involved or tell them it's okay not to be involved?
First of all, great question. We spend a lot of time in our staff training talking about that. I would say typical teenagers, it is in their existence to be resistant. Youth who have been marginalized, times 20. Someone who doesn't think they're worthy, they're not going to be vulnerable, so there is a lot of leaning back and not leaning in. And what we work a lot with in our staff training is how do you, as a teacher, as a facilitator, show up even when everybody's leaning back. And again, we are blown away by our impact. You will have, and this is particularly at Homeboy, where it's part of their existence to be tough. The kids are like the whole time. They don't even talk. And then we give them an anonymous survey. This class changed my life. How did it change your life? You didn't even open your mouth. I learned to use I sentences. And the young woman in the video that I said I've been mentoring her since she was in locked up, Merced, who was in the video, who said, I just want to be somebody, not somebody famous. And I shared, I'm so sorry that I know your name, I don't remember your name. Dylan, yes. No, Dylan, we were sharing before, about the public defender, and this is a girl who didn't get early release because her lawyer shushed her, and she didn't believe that she could stand up and say anything. Fast forward 10 years, she fought in court and got custody over her half-sister. And I don't change, and I appreciate when everybody introduces me that I change lives of thousands of people. I do not. They change their own lives. I give tools. I teach tools. I raise awareness to the power that we have, each one of us, to change our own lives. And what I've learned is that underneath that tough leaning back is someone who wants to hear, someone who's been really hurt. So sometimes I tell my teachers, our visionary trainers, you showing up every week shows that kid that you're serious and that you care. So maybe after 15 weeks, they'll say, wow, I'm worthy. And it has nothing to do with them participating. Really easy to say that here. And when you're in the class, you're like, I want to die as the teacher. I'm the leader. I'm the boss. Yesterday at Calpatrick, I wanted to die a little bit, like in the increments, like, write who you are. I don't want to do this, right? So the mantra is show up. The mantra is ignore it, because the evidence of our impact is that even the kids that are leaning back, they're leaning inside. And what's so sad that so many of these kids, because they have that attitude, they're thrown out of programs, nobody believes in them. We once had a kid, didn't want to participate, and then we had a culmination, and he said to my facilitator, Miss, I have a poem, I want to read it. And she was like, what? Yeah, I wrote the poem. Can I read it today? And she was like, in front of the audience? And he said, yeah. And it was the best poem we've ever heard. This is a kid who never opened his mouth. So we really try, and I try to love my team so that they don't be affected by the hate that they get from the kids. And it's not personal, right? So, and I've also raised 3 teenagers. So I had a mantra, it's not about me, it's not about me, it's not about me. Even though they say I hate you, it's not about me, it's not about me. And I have 3 girls. So whoever has girls knows that girls, the hate is like here as opposed to the teenage boys. Just saying. So yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
What do you do with kids for seeing like a new reality that they can't change and you can't change? Like you can't tell a young Hispanic kid that they're safe because in lots of realities they're not safe. You know, they age out of foster care. They look Hispanic, and so somebody with a mask can come up and demand things from them. What do you do about the things that they have to face that you can't change right now?
First of all, great question. We, actually, I can't even take credit for this. It's someone on my team. We have group agreements when we start our class, and we took the word safe out of it. We don't create safe spaces. I'm not even going to what you talked about. Even this space, I don't know you. Let's say we feel like this is, like I could say, no wrongs, no rights. This is a safe space. You can write whatever. I don't know who you know. And like, so we talk about brave spaces. Brave, a space where you can be brave to share who you are, who you're not. We talk about being safe. And I mean, ICE is wild, what's happening now in LA. And we try to give tools, like all of this, what we're seeing in the street, I can use an ICE sentence till tomorrow, like with the ICE guy. I really don't think he gives a shit, right? Like, I have papers, right? So we try to listen and together strategize, what can that look like? I don't have a good answer because there is no way to make them feel safe. But we talk about, if you get picked up, who do you call? We give them numbers, we give resources. We try as an organization to educate ourselves with what is going around there. We're really lucky as an organization. We don't have a building like this, right? We have an office in a building, but we go places, right? So we're in schools, we're in lockup facilities. Those places, I'm really happy to say, have a, not lockup because that's a whole entity, but New Village Girls Academy. They are a school that's in the compound of St. Anne's. They have a whole system now to combat ICE. They added another door. You have to ring a bell. There was an organization, it's like a pro bono law office that gave the principal a text. Like when ICE comes, there's a whole long thing that she has to read. Blah, blah, blah. And that gives time inside for teachers to take the kids. So we are together, the different organizations, figuring out how do we help our youth stay safe what can we do in this oh so crazy existence to give wise advice? Because I feel like lots of times everything I'm saying isn't wise, right? Because how do you say something wise against ICE, right? Like what does that even look like? But more important than everything is we listen and we give a space and create a space for the youth. What are you afraid of? What are the streets that you're afraid to come and problem solve? So you're afraid to come to school right now because you don't have papers? Can we bring packets to you? Can there be an online version? So it's about listening to what the challenges are and trying to be creative, which by the way is why we have the arts, to find creative solutions. And we don't always have them. And then it's really important to be authentic. We used to be able to bring snacks into lockup, and then somebody somewhere did something, brought in, you know, a Ricola with drugs like you gave me. And now nobody can do that. And what I say to the girls or the guys, I say, listen, I can't bring snacks anymore, but when you get out, we'd love to take you to a meal, right? So we try in the bad situations to see, and this is really my invitation, what is our place in this very broken world to bring some light? And no, I can't change everything. And I think that that was my biggest learning point. I can't change everything. Out of all of these kids, and I've seen thousands of kids in the 15 years, I can count on my hand how many graduated college, and I had the privilege of being there. And I choose not to get depressed by that, because it is depressing, because more should be graduating. But I also know how hard it is to help an individual, so I choose to celebrate that. And I celebrate every kid, and I celebrate every solution, and I celebrate every time I call a colleague and say, what can we do to help this kid? He's on the street, we need a placement. And I celebrate the relationships of the people who are doing the work. So thank you. Are we supposed to do an online question?
Yes, so I was going to say, anyone on Zoom, if you've got a question, go ahead, raise your hand. Go ahead, speak perhaps. You can put it in the chat as well if you're not comfortable hopping on the mic or camera as well.
Is someone reading the chat? Because I see things in the chat.
For the time being, is there anyone else in the room that has a question?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll give the Zoomers one more second, and then we'll go ahead and take Pam's question. All right, Pam, I think we're good to go.
Naomi, for people who want to volunteer or mentor, can you tell us what kind of process that is and what opportunities there are, whether it's to go to the facilities or maybe when people get out?
Yes.
And also if you can talk about what kind of things you offer for people who have left the system.
Yes.
Like, are you connected to Sentence to the Stage or other programs?
So we just started thank you, that's a great question. We just started a mentoring / re-entry program where our hypothesis was so we have, as you saw, not me, because I'm old, but I have a really hip, great young team of actors, very diverse, and the youth love them. And I'm kind of like, that's who they should have as mentors. But my team also has like no money, so they can't do that as volunteers, right? So we started reimagining, what does reentry look like? And what does it look like in these times that are so fragmented and so difficult? And what, as a small-ish organization, is in our mission and capacity to help them? So we started with pairing up youth with a mentor, and it's not we're really in the process of now figuring out what that looks like. So what it would look like for a volunteer is to come to an event. We do inside the lockup facilities events, and we always need volunteers. Like for this upcoming one, it's too late because you would have to get background checked. But for instance, on the 24th of January, I'm gonna rewind to go forward. We host roundtables with youth who've gotten out of the lockup facilities, and we invite Lindsay Horvath's office and supervisors who give us money. I make them come to my office and listen to the kids. And someone said, we're going to stop giving you money if you make us listen to them all the time. But so, because really, who knows better what these kids need than the kids? And at one of these sessions, one of the kids says, you bring us programs like ADVOT, and like, they're great, but we want things like that's in a park on the outs, like a fair, like just a fun day where there's a popcorn machine and an icy machine, and just so we feel like we're on the outs having a normal day. And a demon came into my body, and I said, if you give me the money, I'll make that happen. I'm not really sure why I said that, because it is so much work. And Lindsay Horvath said, I'm giving it to you. So we're producing now these fairs, which are completely not exactly our mission, but it's a lot of fun. And I'm buying a popcorn machine and an icing machine. So why is that whole story? Because we need volunteers to help us on that day. And we're doing like a fair. It's like a California carnival inside a lockup facility. And we're doing popcorn and ices, and we have a taco making station and a volleyball tournament. And yeah, so right now it's less of long term and more for specific events. We try to take them sometimes bowling. We do like outings, and for that we love to have people come. And we're figuring out, what does that look like? And what does it look like to pair kids up? Because what also we learned, the youth that we work with are on the move, and mentoring looks a little bit different than just mentoring, the classic mentoring programs. We have kids that we mentor. One is out of state already. You know, another one just had a baby. It's what we try to do in our mentoring is really share resources of where they need things. So I don't know if that exactly answered, but yeah. Yes, over here.
Thank you. I love how you use the arts to heal and empower young people, the incarcerated, and so on. I think my great-granddaughter was in a program at Homeboy with you. My question is, well, two. One is, how are you funded? And secondly, should we go on your website to find out if there are events that we might be able to volunteer for as a follow-up to today's program, personal as well as community action?
See, I knew that this is an important lady. So I'll start from the easy one. You know, I'm on this mailing list for nonprofits, and there was this profound article about how in business, the more money you make, the more successful you are, right? And you can actually rest a little bit. In the nonprofit world, the more successful you are and the more you grow, the more money you have to raise. Like, it's kind of like the opposite. We're so successful and we're growing, and to sustain that, I have to raise more money. So we are funded by the county, by the Department of Arts and Culture. We're funded by the Board of Supervisors. We're funded by probation, and we're funded by the state, the California Arts Council, and another, actually, which this was absolutely shocking, we have a federal grant, which was a 3-year grant that was supposed to end in February. It's through the Department of Education that no longer exists. I did not even consider that it would be extended. We are closing everything out. We figured out the money. And what was beautiful, and this is why I'm so proud to live in California, is that the Board of Supervisors extended that federal grant for another 1.5 years for everybody who's had good impact. So I'm really proud of the state of California and I'm really lucky that we're funded heavily by the state, and that's the only grant that's a federal grant. The problem and challenge with county and government funding, that it's what's called a fee for service. So that means I have to pay for it, and I get the money a month, 2 months, 3 months later, that's where I had a moment of cash flow in the fall that I was like losing my mind. And a friend of mine said, do you remember Pam, who you met? You should call her, she can help you. Like, so that is very challenging. And the county has funds and keeps giving us money, but we just got a massive contract to create, actually, we're calling it the ADVOT Players, a theater group inside the girls' lockup facility. And to the county's credit, they approved this huge budget to build a set and to have videographers and whatever, and I won't see that money for 3 months. So in my end of year campaign, I had to fundraise for that. So it's very challenging, but I'm also very lucky to be funded by some very generous family foundations. We've had some family foundations who've been funding us for a few years, like from the beginning. And we fundraise, and we ask, and we beg, and that was my growing up curve. Like, you know, you have to learn in the nonprofit world that it's okay. And also, I want to invite people who support us, are part of the ripple. Like, yes, we go and do the work, but the people who give us money, they're also doing the work. And that's kind of looking at it in that way. Join our work. So that's, you know, I'm lucky to be part of a community that's called IKAR, and it's a Jewish community that is very social action minded. So I'm supported by our rabbi and by a lot of people in the community. We do house events. So if any of you have friends, if you wanted to, I do this all the time. Number one, I love the work. Number two, I want everybody to see our youth because I just think that they're brilliant and they're capable of so much. And I want people to see what the arts can do. So I'm happy to come and speak and share. So that's also a way of fundraising. To your second question, how to get involved, join our mailing list because all of our events are always sent out in mailing lists. Email the info on the, and say I'm interested in volunteering, and then you'll get an email. It's really pretty simple. And if we mess up, because sometimes we do and you don't hear from us, email again. Most of the emails come through me anyway, so I'm a little controlling like that, but thank you.
So if there's anyone on Zoom right now that would like to ask a question, again, please feel free to raise your hand, put it in the chat. You can hop on camera. We'll go ahead and give you a second as well.
Our Zoomers are unusually quiet today, so.
They're in awe.
They are in awe, I'm sure. I'm just curious, Naomi, how do these youth get to you, and is there an application for the program? Are they assigned for the program? How does that work?
So you were very accurate on many of them don't want to come to the program. And because we love them, and because we're safe, because we can't punish them, and they're like, it's you again, we hate you. They're kind of like my kids, right? Like, and then we don't show up, and they're like, where were you last week? I'm like, I thought you hated us, right? The first video where you saw the dancers, so that dancer, he is like a very, very known choreographer, and he like choreographs for Lady Gaga, and lovely human, and he volunteers with me. And one of the first time he came to one of the girls' facilities, they were horrible. Like, they wouldn't participate. They were like lying on the floor, and they were just like not nice. They were rude. And he left, and I said, you guys, like, that's embarrassing what you just did. This man is like a really serious professional. He wanted to come dance with you. He's not going to come back again. What? Why wouldn't he come back again? I said, well, maybe because you were like lying on the floor. And they were like, tell him to come back. And then he came back, and I was like, if he comes back, you guys better. So a lot of times they're voluntold to come. They do get a certificate when they finish, and we write letters to the judge. And there's like also a vibe. They know that we're good, like that we show up. They know that we keep our word, which is very important. And they know that we bring wings and pizza at the culmination. That's important. And so we, again, are a program that comes to places. So typically they don't volunteer, they come. And sometimes in the relationships that we create with the place that we go to, like at New Village, at the girls' school, we're part of their advisory program. There was another school where they had something called peer-to-peer helping. So we taught, you know, we really, as any relationship should be, we have a lot of flexibility in how we do our curriculum and in where we implement it, because to begin with, the kids don't want to be there. So let's try and create an environment that has at least less obstacles. I mean, even yesterday, they had come back from gym, and I always start with music. They're like, oh my God, do we have to work out again? I said, no, we want to do the music. No, we want the music, we just don't want to move. I'm like, well, okay, so from your seat, do the I am not, and I'll leave the music on, right? So it's a lot of negotiating. So that's kind of part of what we do. So in the lockup facilities, the way that the lockup facilities are right now is that there's units, and the units are usually divided by age, by crime, and by gang affiliation. So a lot of times the units can't even be in the outside space together because of the gang activity. So typically we will go to here, or we will go to here. My whole shtick is always like, you're in the ADVOT gang now and no gang stuff between you guys, which they always think is really funny. But so we are usually designated for a unit. ADVOT has a reputation for agreeing to go to the harder units. In the camps, in the halls, there's something called the compound. The compound is a jail inside a jail. Those are higher offenders. It's kids who were tried as adults and then they were taken out of the adult jails, and we are known to be working with them because I think theater talks to everybody, and because we're known to have that patience. We've worked also, there's units for more special needs, and my background is special needs, so you know, we try to go into the spaces. When I started 15 years ago, there weren't a lot of arts programs. And I'm really proud that the county has really embraced art, and they created this whole Department of Arts and Culture to do programs. So we try now to go to the spaces that other arts organizations don't want to go to, because art is for everyone. And someone shouldn't not get an art program because they're a higher offender. On the contrary, they probably need it more. Yeah. Ooh.
I couldn't help noticing, looking here at the monitor, at the feed I'm sending out to Zoom, that you are bookended by two logos that seem to go very well together and read like one sentence.
That's true.
Or two one sentences.
Yeah.
I think this, from the perspective of the guy over here behind all the wires, I think this is a good relationship that's developing here.
That's gonna make me cry. Anything you do from the heart, even if it's not that great, is a good thing, because it's a teacher. And we talk about that with the youth. You maybe made a mistake. Let's examine that. And we have, from the nonviolent communication, there's a beautiful story that we tell the kids, and I'm going to tell it really, really quickly. There's a young person standing in the middle of the town, and they open up their jacket, and they say, look at my heart. This is the most beautiful heart in the world. And it's this beautiful red heart, and it's beating, and it's beautiful, and it's red, and the whole city goes, ooh, and ah, that's amazing. Then from the back, there's an old man, and he opens up his heart. He opens up his coat and he says, "That's not a beautiful heart. This is a beautiful heart." And the entire city goes, "Oh, what?" And you look at this heart, and there's pus coming out, and it's torn, and there's a hole, and there's a safety pin holding it together. And everybody in the city is like, "Oh, that's gross. What are you talking about? That's so ugly." And he says, "Hold on." And then he goes, and I'm going to shorten it because I know that we're constricted for time. And he then goes to explain, this hole, I love this woman so much. I gave her my heart. She wasn't interested. I have a hole. This is where I lost the love, but I tied it together. This, I can't talk about it. The pus is still coming out. This, my friends, is a heart that lived, a heart that loved, a heart that hurt. This is a beautiful heart. And then the young person comes over with his perfectly beautiful red heart, with tears coming down their eyes, pulls a piece out of their perfect heart, puts it on the tattered and broken heart, and he says, "Now my heart is whole." And you're right, yours is a beautiful heart. So that is, and the exercise that we do is that we bring a heart, and everybody has to write what is in their heart. And then we talk about it, and then we share it, and then we act it out, and we say, "You're broken, we're all broken. You are as beautiful as you're broken. Actually, you're so much more beautiful because you're broken. Don't be ashamed, own it, talk about it, and now do better." And that's kind of so thank you. I'm going to do, are you ending it out? Or my closing? Great. So I'm going to invite everybody to stand up, please. And I'm going to ask you, and you can do this online also, even though you're not on camera, but you can do it. So I'm going to ask you to stretch your two arms out, and I want you to pick two flowers. Pick two flowers, smell them, and give it to a person next to you. And if you got someone was giving it to someone else, that's okay. You give a flower, that's right, you give one flower, yes, and you give another flower. Thank you, thank you. And now you pick another flower, you smell it, and you put it on your heart. It is not a given that you are here. It is not a given that you listen to me. Time is precious, and you gave me an hour and a half of your time. You did get a good tuna sandwich, but still. I appreciate that, and I am so grateful when anybody listens to me, listens to our youth, because it really is about listening. And then the last one is you pick one flower, and you smell it. And when I count to 3, we're going to throw it up into the air, because I believe that the sky is not the limit. The sky is where it starts. 1, 2, 3, and up. And now please repeat after me, and I'm going to just move this a little bit away. I am amazing. That was sad. I am amazing. I am beautiful. I am worthy. Thank you. Toda rava. Thank you.